Hello, everyone. Welcome again to He Still Speaks Now Listen. Have another interesting message that I thought about. As some of you are aware, Father Day is coming upon us soon. And I thought about presenting a new type of Father Day message, along in a mix with what we have heard in the past. The day is approaching, and it will be celebrated with a lot of individuals and families, cookouts, barbecue, attending church, going on trips to meet the Father, or going to the graveside and say a prayer or something to our fathers. Ministers would preach from the pulpit about the importance of having a father and what a father meant to us, and even say that God is our fathers. And that led me to think about this. Have you ever went to a church or attend any type of ceremony on Father Day and heard something where it say, what about the children who fatherless? What about the fatherless children? Those who have been abandoned by their fathers, those who have refused to take responsibility for their actions, the fathers that's in jail or in prison, who are homeless or in mental institution, and so on. Where's my fathers? Where is my father? Have you ever heard any minister preach or teach or any message on a YouTube channel where it talks about where's my father? Where's my father? There's a silent, there will be silent tears on Father Day across this country. Fatherless youth will be crying within. They may have cried physically, their tears may have been shed, their tears have been seen by the mother or friends or family or the grandmother. Silent tears that's being shown and exhibited in our young youth of today. It's not a black or white thing. It's about where are the fathers who have abandoned their responsibilities. When there's a male in the home, when there's no male in the home, the child is missing that male foundation on what it is to be a male. A mother can only teach the child so much. I'm not against any mother. They're doing the best what they can. They're doing the best with what they have. And some children are rebellious and don't want to listen and refuse to listen and do their own things. As I mentioned, a mother cannot give and teach a child, a male child, what it is to be a male. And because of the lack of that teaching the child the basic male foundational understanding of what it is to be a male. Of course, some youth will say, I know how to be a man. I know I took care of myself. I don't need no father. But what it is to be a man? Is it being a man selling drugs on the corner, walking down the street with your pants hanging off your butt, drop out of school and refuse to go back and get a GED because of pride and what your friends or your homie on the block may say, going around getting or impregnating females only to leave that woman childless, only to go to another woman and do the same thing over and over. And that same woman, that different woman may be aware of your other children, and she agreed to have a sexual relationship with you and get pregnant from you, and then you leave her. Why did she do that? Did you tell her something special that no man have never told her? So therefore, you leave her after you found out that it's your child? Baby, you've been cheating on me. Go get an abortion or do whatever. I'm out of here. You have left a fatherless child. So what it is to be a man? Pull up your pants. Think with your head and not what's down between your legs. Understanding, accept the truth. Recognize that you have a responsibility. I'm not taking anything away from the strong mothers that's out there doing the best they can with their children. And God knows a lot of them have done a lot for their children. And sometimes their children stab them in the back, figuratively speaking, and cause them problems. And some have gone on to make great success in their life that mankind or individuals can benefit from. Doctors, lawyers, politicians, or whatever. They didn't allow not having a father in their home hold them back. They achieve to do what they need to do. I'm focusing on those fathers who are continually abandoning their children after pregnancy from women after women after women after women, and think it's good to have multiple children out there with no fathers. A lot of children out there are crying through their behavior because they don't have a father. You see sports stars and people on television will say, I like to thank my mother. They may say, I like to thank God. But very rarely you hear, I like to thank my father for what he done to me. We rarely hear that from a powerful or political or athletic person that's on TV that we may be aware of. It's always giving thanks to the mother. I saw a news article on the internet when I was doing my search, say it says 3 kids, 3 different baby daddies. Women with multiple baby daddy. Multiple baby daddy can make you poor. You got 4 different baby daddies. We know in society, it is not really frowned upon when a female have multiple children. However, when a female have multiple children from different babies, different fathers, it tells a lot about that female. We don't hear things like that in the church, that keep your legs closed, say no, practice abstinence, you're not married, don't do it. But because of the 1 + 1, I like to say all the time, 3, she has spread and she has sex and she get pregnant and the guy run off and say it's not his. So Father Day means a lot to those fathers who's out there playing the active role in their children's lives. It is good. I'm commend them. But what about the fatherless? As I mentioned, the children who do not have a father, don't even know where their father is at, or in prison, a mental institution, or even homeless. They have no idea. For you fathers, I'm asking you, from the sound of my voice, that if you have the opportunity to make contact with your child, you need to do it. You can't make up the years you have lost. Admit why you left, if it's possible. If you can get in touch with them, just to say, hey, hello, I thought of you. I'm sorry for what I did. I'm sorry for what I've caused. Don't worry about their response. Do the right thing. And whatever happens, happens. You're not responsible for them receiving you, loving you. They may hate you. They may resent you. They may have nothing to do with you. But clear your conscience and get in touch with those that you have left behind. If you live in a city and you see that child that you brought in the world, don't walk by like you don't know them. Get in touch with the mother and say, can I speak to my child? Or can you give my child a message? And allow the child to come to you if they choose to come to you. And tell them, why did you flee? Mothers and fathers need to examine their behaviors. When it comes to the silent tears of their children, yes, they can blame the fathers that left the children and abandoned them. But why is the child fatherless? The mother has a role to play in it too. If she did not get pregnant, that child would not have been born. The child would not experience no father in the home. So she too is guilty that her child has no father in the home. And when there's no father in the home to raise that child up in a manly foundational understanding of how to treat a woman, how to treat people with respect, there's no morality in the home being taught based on the word of God, then that child will go out there and the streets will become their teacher. They will learn from other fatherless youth and think it's all well and do what makes them happy at that moment. And yet they blame no one. I'm sorry, they blame others instead of themselves. Parents need to examine themselves and see how did they affect and how they are affecting their child today. You father, to make amends, do it on this Father's Day. Even if it's not on Father's Day, do it when you feel it's the right time to get in touch with the child you have left behind. Don't be afraid. Don't be prideful. Don't deny that you left someone out there. Yes, you can go out there and you can go out there and do the best you can. But what about the fathers who don't know they have children because the woman kept it from them? And then when the father tried to make an attempt to make contact with the child, the woman refused because she don't want her son or child, female, to know what she had done. So she withhold information. She make out the father the bad guy, all along allowing the child to believe that the father has abandoned his responsibility. But it was because the female had decided that she didn't want nothing to do with that man, so she kept the birth from him. And maybe she had an abortion, or maybe she gave birth to the child and moved out of another state and doing her own thing. And because of all of that, the child is growing up and saying, where is my father? I want a father. My next door neighbor have a father. My friends have a father. I see family outings where the father is playing sports with their children, doing all kind of good things. And then the child is crying within. And the child is moved by what he sees or she sees. And the tears begin to flow from their eyes, physically and sometimes emotionally. They keep it inside of themselves, express it and tell someone that they miss their father. So they lash out in anger and violence, doing the wrong things in the street, get in jail, get captured by the gang influence, all because of the consequences of the mother and the father. Yes, we had a Mother Day, and yes, we had a Father Day is coming up. But those two things go hand in hand. Mothers and fathers are responsible if one parent leave the home. And yes, we know that some mothers leave their children and go to the grandmother because they're into drugs or prostitution or whatever, or a career, or they can't handle it because they're too young. They got to go to school. They got to finish college. All these excuses and reasons. But did they think about it when it was in their 1+1 way of thinking? When they agreed to have sex and bring forth the child because some guy told them they look beautiful, they look smart. You mean all this to me. Prove your love. You need to represent. I want a child of my own so I can look at someone. I want a boy. I have no control of the baby going to be a boy. So the child grow up with the hidden tears that no one can see. But they can't see them through their emotions and their feelings and the choices that they make in life. So it's not always the man's fault. Females have a lot to do. So try to reach out, you mothers and fathers, to make a difference. And if you have a father in the home, thank him, youth, for being there for you, through thick and thin, and likewise unto the mother. You may not agree with the choice that they make, but thank them for being a part of your life in whatever way they are doing it. When men are out there sowing children after children after children, they will bring forth other children and children and children. The seed will pass on until it stops. Fathers and mothers, that they have a great responsibility to raise their child in a godly manner, in a godly home. Take your eyes off of self Take your eyes off your neighbors and your friends and what they're doing and what they have. We all have a purpose in life. Look at your responsibility. Look at what you're doing and saying and see how it's affecting, see how it's contributing to your child behavior. You can't say it's not. You cannot say it's always the man, it's the woman. It's both for your fault. Begin to call into question your behavior. If you who are listening to me tonight, or whenever you listen, whatever time of day you're listening, share this with other individuals and allow them the opportunity to hear this. Because someone I know from the sound of my voice that there's someone out there crying, where is my father? I want my father to be a part of my life. I'm tired of seeing other family members that have fathers. My father is deceased. I have no physical father, but God is my father. I'm sharing with you what I'm led to share, hoping that it would touch some youth out there who about to make the greatest mistake in their lives. And when they hear this particular message, that they don't have to go down that road of destruction that will surely they will meet. They don't have to follow their friends in the neighborhood. They don't have to blame their mother or their father for not being in their life. That they can be whatever they want to be. If they need to go back to school, go back to school. Get a college degree if you want to. You don't have to. Get a high school diploma. Do something with your life. Don't blame the white man or whoever. Begin to look in the mirror and self. Say, are you happy with what you see? Don't determine your happiness by the car you have, the money you have, the watch you have, the bling you have, the gold you have, the women you have had sex with, or the property you own. That does not define a father. That does not define a youth. Begin to wake up and recognize that you have fathered a child in the world. Your child is crying out physically. Your child is crying out emotionally and mentally through his or her actions. Begin to understand that you sow a child into the world. See the child. Both are responsible for the outcome of that child. Mothers, do not blame and quit blaming and quit telling your child that the husband or your boyfriend, ex-boyfriend is no good to the child. They don't need to hear that. That's between you and him or her. Begin to encourage your child that no matter the mother, their mother is not there. If you are a father, if you are a mother and the father's not there, don't belittle one another. Build up your child with self-esteem, encourage them, awaken their spiritual growth. Begin to plant the seed of understanding and wisdom that they can be whatever God has in it for them. That is the message I'm giving to you prior to this Father's Day. My gift in a letter through this channel. Begin to wake up. And you females and males should know better. If you're single and you're not married, I've been single and I have not been married. I had sex in marriage and out of marriage. Meaning when I was single, I had sex with different women. I enjoyed the fruits. I enjoyed the pleasure. All along, I knew it was wrong. And yes, some fathers are doing the same thing. We need to understand that we reap what we sow. Don't deceive yourself. You reap what you sow. And I mentioned mothers who have abandoned their children and left them with grandma for whatever reason. Need to begin to look at yourself and see it's not about what you didn't do or what you lack of, or this child is holding you back. Excuse me, the child is holding you back. Did you think of that the night or day or that moment when you was engaging in a sexual relationship and saying, oh, baby, you make me feel good? Did you think about the consequences? No. Did he think about the consequences? No. And then when you tell him he's pregnant, he said, it's not mine. It's somebody else. Whether it's true or not true, that is not the point. You both engage in an activity that produce a child. So we all are responsible for our behavior. Quit justifying your lack of or your want. It's not about you. It's about the child, you mothers who abandoned yours, you father who have left yours. You should consider the consequences of your actions. Are you experiencing hard times, sickness, or whatever? Did you put 1 + 1 is 2 and say, oh, it's because I abandoned my child? And again, I'm not talking about the ones that you don't know about because of the woman, because of hatred and anger. I'm talking about the one that you know about in the same city you live in, or the one you pass in the street or in the mall, or the one that you are aware of because you see they are making or doing something with their life that you have never given them. Reach out to those who you can reach out to those individuals that you can make a difference to. Fathers and mothers, volunteer your time to help other single mothers and single fathers. Take your eyes off of self. Teach the young girl the consequences. Start a group in the neighborhood about the do's and don'ts. Don't be driven by your emotions. So what if you don't have a father? So what if you don't have a mother? That does not define who you are. Put your trust in God. Put your trust in someone with wisdom and experience that been there where you have gone. Trust that things can get better. With every operation, there will be a surgery, there'll be a pain, there will be a time of stitching and healing. And that also is in life. We as parents are not guiltless. There should be no blaming the other for our lack of. And begin to ask yourself, how can you wipe away those silent tears? When you walk into the room, if you're a single mother and father, and you see your child, hug them, kiss them, and say, I love you. And if they ask you why, then you take an opportunity to say, you know what? I heard something on YouTube that you may need to hear yourself. Whatever you do with it, fine, but just listen. That you can make a difference. Don't be deceived and follow the path that will eventually lead you to your death. I know when I was a law enforcement officer, youth was killed. Other youths go to the party or to the funeral to cry and shed tears that their homie had died. But their friend do not come back the next day and say, I'm back. No. And some youth will wake up and decide that this life is not for them. They're going to make a turnaround. And there's some out there that say, you know what, we're going to get revenge on who killed so-and-so. Not knowing, whether they know it or not, that when they say they're going to go out and seek revenge because someone else got killed, they too will be killed the same way they killed someone else. Or their descendants or their children or their children's children will experience their behavior. We heard that when people die, they leave a will. But we leave a spiritual will every day with the things we say and do in the lives of our children. Are your children experiencing the sins of your consequences? They did not experience it. You did not experience it, but they are experiencing sickness, illness, or whatever because of the consequences of your choice. It's not about getting back together and getting married and having a family. We're not talking about that. We're talking about accepting your responsibility for what you have done. I remember when I was writing several messages day after day, year after year, month after month, and I went back and saw them. I said, wow, this can be a great Father's Day type book. And I recall writing something titled, Daddy, pay your child support. And I add the little catch, Mom, you too. Daddy, pay your child support, and Mom, you too. I have known males will quit their job work under the radar just to avoid paying child support. And if they are working and paying taxes, they would do whatever not to pay child support. That is wrong. You will reap what you sow. When you are out there denying your responsibility through financial means to help your child in whatever way possible, you will reap your consequences. You may never get in touch with the child. You may disregard what I'm saying. You may say, forget that. I don't believe that. Who are you to tell me what to do? And that's fine. But you will reap the sins of your consequences or your children. And I say, mommy, you too, because I had met one of my neighbors in another city. He had custody of the children, and the mommy did not. I guess she was into drugs, into the street, and she had to pay him child support. So there are women out there that do pay child support. And there are women out there that get child support and will squeeze the man for more and more and more just to hurt in the form of punishment. There are women out there will use the child support on themselves and lack and don't do what they need to be done to the child. And they want to get more money from the father. There's women out there that will see a father going on with his life, succeeding in whatever, have a business, then she takes him back to court to squeeze more money out of him. It is wrong. If you need more financial help, if you are working, fine. If you're using the money in the way it meant for the child, you shouldn't want no more money. But we know, and it's the truth need to be heard, that there's some females out there will squeeze every dollar, dime out of that man. And yes, it is still wrong for the man to say, I'm not going to deal with this anymore. I'm going to work under the radar. He still is responsible for his action, his behavior. And then the other ones say, from your child, the child is writing to the mother or the father saying, I want you in my life. I'm not mad or angry about what you did. I just want you to play some role in my life. Then another young lady wrote this to me that I never met in person. She knew that I write, and I had a website. She started when she had not finished, and she titled it, A Letter to Daddy. And I think I paraphrased it. She mentioned about she would love to have a daddy in her life, how to recognize the lies that boys would tell her to get into her clothes. And the next one is wanting a father to help me grow up. Wanting a father in my life to help me to grow up. You will find those that I have mentioned. Look for the tab that says blog and scroll down. You see Daddy Pay Your Child Support. A letter to daddy. A letter to daddy is where the child is writing. You can add it to the mom. I need you. They don't have to need you in the form of financial help. They may need you in the form of being there for them. They may need you to be in their life just for a moment, to go to play a sports with them, to do some type of activity within. So guess what? Their mother and their father has become the street, the homies on the corner, because they have become their family, even though it's misunderstood, can't find the right word, mass of people getting together saying that we form a family in a form of a gang. So because we are a gang, we can go out and do things to hurt others. It is still wrong. Begin to wipe away the tears, the emotional tears, the physical tears, the hidden tears that's flowing down from your child's face or in your child behavior. Father Day is coming soon. Allow this message to make a difference. And I close by saying, I remember watching this movie called War Room, where the husband and wife was fighting. The child overheard the husband, their mom and dad. And she said, told her friend that she wished she was next to live with her because she won't have to deal with the arguing and the fussing. The mother and father are married, but yet they're thinking as a separate individual. They're married, but they're thinking as they're separate. The husband saying, this is my money. The wife hates and despises the husband for whatever reason. She met an elderly female who had wisdom and knowledge and understanding, taught her how to pray, taught her how to take her eyes off of herself, and began to put everything in God's hands. In the movie, some of it can be true, and some of it can apply to a lot of us today. But the key was for me when I saw what was sat on the bed talking to a child, and the child say, what's my coach name, or something like that? Do you not want an award? Do you know I did this and that? And the mama, tears flowed down her eyes. The father was busy with his career, not concerned with his child life. He was doing things that he should not have done to live the high life. It was a Richie type dysfunctional home, but on the outside, it had the appearance of a good home. How many of you out there who have an appearance of a good home, but behind the closed doors are experiencing something similar? So I took that moment for me, and I went to my 3 girls, 4. Yes. And I told them, I'm sorry that their mother and I are not together. I did not belittle to mother. I took responsibility for my actions. And I recall when I was growing up, how my mother and father behaved. And I didn't want my children to experience the same thing. So I did what I thought I knew was right. Are they living a perfect life like I want them now? I did what I was supposed to have done. Whatever they do, they do. But I did what I had to do. If you have time, take an opportunity to look at the movie, and you will get something from it. Yes, it's entertaining, it's full of humor, but there's a message. As I say, God is always speaking through us. The question is, are we willing to listen? This is my Father's Day gift. My Father's Day YouTube card. Mothers and those fathers who are crying physically that their child cannot experience a Father's Day because he's in jail, he's in prison, he's homeless, he have abandoned them, nowhere to be found. They're doing the best with what they have. And yet at the same time, the child is crying out in his or her behavior through pregnancy, or drugs, or life of crime. No hope, no dreams. Take advantage of this message and ask yourself, are you ready to make the change? Are you ready to accept the truth? Begin to take responsibility for your actions. And if you've done all that you can do in your power and your ability and what you have, then you have done the right thing. It's not about the person. It's not about what they do or how they respond to what you're doing and saying. It's about what you need to do. A message to you. It's not about the parent. I'm sorry. It is about you, mothers and fathers. Look at self and ask yourself, what have you done lately as a father and a mother? Are you so consumed with all around you that you're missing the important days and memories of your child life? And if you are, then this message is for you. You can listen to it, you can do what you want to do, and that's fine. I have no power to make you do it. I have no power to beat you. But I will tell you this, whatever you decide after hearing this message, what you sow, good or bad, love, hate, good, bad, evil, wrong, do unto others as you have them to do unto you. Are you expressing your love and your care and concern? Are you doing all that you can do being a single mother? Are you doing all that you can do being a single father? Are you denying yourself for your children in the right order? Are you blaming and accusing the other person for your condition and not recognizing that you are responsible for your own lifestyle and your condition? It's not about blame. Taking responsibility, look for the answers to help you get out of that thinking. And when the next man come and say, baby, I love you, mean a lot to me. You the best woman I ever met. All these women that I have pregnant, all these women I have that got children for me, they don't mean nothing for me. You are the one for me. Let's have sex. And if you believe that lie, you have been deceived, and you have agreed that that 1 + 1 is 3. And guess what? You will have a 3, and that will be a child, whether it be twins. So 1 + 1 is actually 2. But when you have a child, that is the only time 1 + 1 = 3. Thank you. If you allow yourself to think, you receive answers. Again, visit hestillspeaksnowlisten.org and check out the messages that I have put on my website. Check out the blog. Look at all the tabs. If you have any questions or any concern, I have an email and telephone number. But one thing I will ask you to do, share this Father's Day message to others. It's not about blaming. It's not about accusing. It's about understanding your condition. It's about understanding that you have heard answers to what you need to do. It's the simple things that we do that can make a life different in our lives and in other lives. You are responsible for what you do. So thank you once again. Until next time, God bless.